Good evening once again, and welcome to the Literary Hour. We're here again to discuss names, the power of names, and how names can empower, disempower, and recreate. And with me is my co-host, Professor Kim Moses Nagbe, who will be discussing it. Hi, Prof.
Hi, Jackie, how are you?
I'm okay. And welcome to all our viewers. Share the show, as they say, so others can join in the conversation. So we're going to discuss names. And, Prof, I listened to a TED Talk the other day
Mhm.
about a Nigerian woman. I think her name is Erican. Yeah. And she was talking about how names are, it's almost like you say identity, but she was using all these words like name is a badge, you know,
Mhm.
it's an anthem, it's
Yeah.
her family's anthem. And she was saying that, when she went to Nigeria, and she would get in a car, and the driver would say, what's your name? And she would say Erican, and he would say, oh, Erica. And she says, no, my name is Erican, and then she was saying how Erican means the victory is God, or God,
Mhm.
victory comes from God, so that her name means something. And I was thinking about that when um, I was talking to a friend, and he was saying that, well, people change their name when they get here
Mhm.
because it's so difficult to pronounce.
Mhm.
And then I was thinking about Chimamanda Adichie,
Mhm.
right? I mean, nobody can say, "Oh, I don't know how to pronounce her name," right?
Mhm.
And those that couldn't pronounce her name, you bet they know how to pronounce it now.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's
Repeat,
just a matter of
yeah,
of
repetition and things like that.
yes, yes. Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm going," I mean, it's one thing to give your name a shortcut, like
Mhm.
Jacqueline for
Yeah.
Jackie, but
Yeah.
to change your name entirely to suit a group, it's not. So,
Well,
mhm.
I'll tell you a story. When I was in grad school, I had a white classmate. In fact, we became friends. He has an Italian origin, and he said that I think it's often happened as refugees are being transitioned here and there. A lot of uh, some of the Europeans and both East and West, uh, when they arrived at the island in New York there, and they were being processed, sometimes immigration officers will purposefully change the spelling of people's names so that they kind of conform to what Americans want to see them or hear them sound like. So all those things are possibilities of how agencies are transferred. So in the case of, there are some which, because of the sound of the names, do not get touched. Sometimes they sound so funny, and sometimes people laugh about that and then want to move on. But all these things are possible. That's what I wanted to say. And talking about the names being batched and what have you, names sometimes are what?
Oh,
Trails. Uh, so in my indigenous culture, for instance, when I call my name, my indigenous name, Nagbe, when I call my name, someone will say, which Nagbe is that?
yes, yes,
Which Nagbe is that? Then it is a way of tracing that lineage. And that's how someone arrives. Okay, you are from this lineage. Okay, you are from the other lineage. So names also help in tracing lineages. And that is, I'm sure that is part of what Mr. Whiteman knew. That is why the first thing he would do when you landed here as a slave or what have you, to make sure that he clean your name off you and then give you. No wonder Kunta Kinte of Roots was determined to keep his Kunta Kinte name. And of course, he got beaten, sadly got beaten for that.
Prof, the first thing I thought of
Yes.
was just that. I said, I'm sure when the people landed at Ellis Island,
Yes.
that they changed their names. And then I went and I read. You know what they said?
Mm-hmm.
They said that's not true. Now listen to me, Prof. I'm just saying what they said is not true. They said what happened is that when they are coming from their countries, their names are already on a manifest. They have their names. But what happened is that when they get here, many things happen. First, they may have had a fictitious name.
Yes.
So now they want their own name.
Okay.
They may have misspelled their name.
Okay.
So now they want to put the name.
Yes, rewrite
they
it.
They may have used the name of a family.
Yes.
And now they want their own name. So it was interesting, you know. Or they say it's like sometimes they use the stepfather's name.
Yes.
And then when they come, so I mean, I agree.
So many facets. Yes. So many.
Yes.
Even the very Trump.
Yes.
His from his German lineage.
Yes.
The father's name was, I think, Drumpf or something like that. Drumpf or something of that sort. And then eventually the father changed it to sound more, I mean, American and what have you. That's how it became Trump. Trump. Yes. So many. The short of the long is, I think, so many things go into this name change type of thing, and maybe it may be from the people themselves, or it may be from other sources and other reasons.
Okay, so if we look at the first slide, right? Let's introduce it now. It's the name as an affirmation of continuity.
Yes.
Right? And that continuity, because we want to live forever.
Yes.
That's why children carry, I guess, one of the things besides legal. One of the things is that they carry their father's name.
Yes.
Right? And then they said, like in Afghanistan, you have only a first name.
Wow.
But then if they want to situate you, because you have a title, an honorific title, or your grandfather, you know, like they say IBN, like Moses Ibn Nagbe, Moses son of.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This thing about Osama bin Laden. Yes.
Bin Laden. Yes, son of. Yeah. And then they have so it's an affirmation of continuity.
Yes.
We will continue.
Yeah.
And so a lot of and the Africans, they know. I mean, we know how to affirm that with the name. You know, even if we give our name, we always give the mother's name as the middle name or something. You know, because we want to affirm that we want to continue.
Yes.
You know, through Okay. And then they say name as purveyor of history. When names evoke historical figures, places, and things.
Yes.
You know? Like my name, Jackie, they say I was named after Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis.
Oh, how about that? Hey.
Because there's no Jackie in our family. Right? So, but some people are named after. I mean, like John F. Kennedy. I'm sure there were a lot of Johns at the time.
Yes.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure we learned about a lot of Baracks.
Yes.
There were a lot of Baracks. So it can be a purveyor of history.
Yes.
But then it can be an affirmation of kingship and belonging.
Yes. That's
you said, which Nagbe are you?
Yeah. Which Nagbe are you? Yes. And then they'll say, yes,
they situate you. Like every time when they ask me and I say, oh, my mother is a Collins.
Yes.
Then they start, which Collins?
Which Collins? Yes.
That's what, yeah.
And what about the other one, which says that names a kind of source prosperity? That's what is happening now in Liberia, where some of the churches out there are saying the names you gave your children signifies the name that you gave your child signifies prosperity. So some are success, some are gifted, some are comfort, and all that kind of a thing.
And that is a lot. That is almost like tradition, like in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I've met a lot of good luck.
Yes.
I've met a lot of prince and princess.
In Ghana, Nigeria, yes. And those churches are full from. Yes. And those sources that flow from there to Liberia, oh my God, they so some people whose names you knew and what have you, you go there this time. No, I am what is it? If it is not, they use the name prosperity as well.
Yes.
Yes, prosper. Yeah, prosper. Yes.
And then we say name as an affirmation of an emotive essence, right? Like we
Yes.
say honey,
Yes, honey.
sweetheart. But
Yes.
Prof, this thing that you say arose like any other name is not true. We come back to that because if you remember when Romeo found out that Juliet was a Capulet, right?
Yes.
He said my greatest love springs from my greatest foe. You know, but he said he wished it was any other name. So it's not true that a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet. That's not true.
Yeah, but no, but you can't just be definitive about that conclusion though, because the person who says that is interested in the essence of that person, and it's got nothing to do with name. So whether it's a rose or a tulip or what have you, the idea is that what is inside that name, who is inside that name, that's the person I'm interested in. So whether that name, I mean, whether the fragrance is different, what have you, whether the name is different, it is the fragrance I'm interested in. So you don't say that's not true.
And you're right. But you know, it's funny when we were talking about names, and we said that names also, it's like a we said it can happen when you have a metamorphosis.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When you go through a change.
Yes. Initiation.
I thought of that when. Remember Augustine Sharif when he came on?
Yes.
And was saying that his name went from, they were calling him Freetown Bobo.
Yes.
It came to Augustine.
Yes.
So his name took on a whole gamut.
Oh, yes.
Yes, of his growth. Yes. And then if we even look at the Bible.
Yes.
You know,
Paul to Saul.
Yes. And Saul of Tarsus.
Yes.
And then Abraham to Abraham.
Yes, that's right.
Jacob to Israel.
Yes.
You know, so God gave them names as well.
Yes.
You know, and we talked about
and don't forget too about the indigenous rites of passage. Where,
yes.
For instance, if those from the north central part of our country, Liberia, if you are initiated into the Poro, when you come out of Poro, you have a different name.
Like
the same thing with Sunday. Yes. The Yambele becoming a power. Yes, that's right.
And Prof, another thing also is that with the power of names, we said that it can empower.
Yes.
And that's why I think that's why when the free people here who were turned into slaves in the world, the name was the only thing that they could cling to.
Yeah.
You see, and they had to be dispossessed of that thing.
Yes.
You know?
Had to be dispossessed. That's the key word. That they had to be dispossessed. Because actually, we said that names have a sort of a mysterious energy.
Yes.
And so to dispossess you of that, what do? They get the name of you, and once you cannot hear it time and time again, it kind of slice something of you, kill something of you. Yes.
Yes, and name, you know, like I was talking to a friend, and he was telling me about his grandfather's name, and name. It has the power that you can live up to.
Yes.
You know,
it inspires you, motivates you.
Yes.
Gives
so
you extra energy. Yes.
If you say, "Oh, my father is," let's say, Julius Caesar.
Yes.
Doors open.
Yes.
You know, doors open.
That's true.
People say, "Oh, I knew your father," or "I knew your brother." I mean, your grandfather.
Yes.
You know? So it becomes almost this mystical thing, you know, that paves the way for you.
And Jackie, that is important because remember that is linked to legacy.
Yes. Yes.
If you had a grandparent or if you had a parent who, irrespective of human flaws, came out very well in terms of being known by many people because of what he may have done or what he must have said, that becomes a legacy that can kind of catapult you into some other areas. And that is even true of before the coup days in Liberia, of course. After the coup days, of course, one or two things were. But before the coup days, if you were a Cooper, if you were, one of those elite names, it almost, yes, that's my brother, or yes, that's my
Yes.
sister, and what have you. And that, as you were saying, open doors for you. Yes.
Yeah, and but we also talk about the fact that names can be weaponized as well.
This is
You
true.
know,
This is
but
true.
but the thing is that we can have names that say, "Oh, we can live up to the name,"
Yes.
but we also can have names that we can want live down.
Yeah. You even want to run under the table when they call that name. Yes.
Yes, yes.
You see.
So Prof, I will ask you this question,
Uh-huh.
and reading what our friend Vahu Man said
Yes.
about his friend. And besides the ones that we talked about
Mhm.
whether it was a fictitious name,
Mhm.
whether you came under somebody's name, why I mean all of these things, but primarily we see that many of the Africans who come here,
Mhm.
those with I would not say difficult sounding names. I would
Mhm.
say the Western world does not know how to pronounce it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I know some Asians
Mhm.
who they come and their name will be Jean Lee.
Mhm.
They
Yes.
will, they will, they will get a totally different name,
Mhm.
but they will still have the Asian name.
Yes.
But I would say what would compel other than economic,
Mhm.
what would compel an African coming here,
Mhm.
knowing the history of dispossession,
Yes.
to change their name?
The thing about is belonging, acclimatization, adjustment, and what have you. So all those, and you are, I'm sure, familiar with Abraham Abraham Maslow and his needs hierarchy. We talk about
Oh yeah, yeah,
psychological
Maslow, the
needs. You talk
hierarchy
about,
of
yes,
needs. Yes,
yes. We talk about psychological needs. You talk about physical needs. Psychological is powerful. So part of the psychological is belonging, being able to be accepted. Sometimes even your name kind of frighten people away. So all these things are put into one big bowl, and what you can do is just close your eyes and take a particular name and run with it. So that is what I see. As you also said about economic, yes, but the thing about it is that this is the whole idea of belonging, reassurance, and all those things come into the picture for the change of names and what have you. At least that's what I see. I'll give you a little story. One girl, she had Asian features. Do you know that even though that girl had a name that she had raised her with, she preferred using the Western name that she said was her middle name. She came to, after I called Ro twice, do you know that she came and whispered in my ear, I want you to, Professor, I want you to please call me Evelyn. That's what that lady said. So out of respect for what she wanted, I could have grilled her, but then I just said, well, let me not trouble the porch. She must have been around 19 or 20 or there. She said, please call me Evelyn. That's the same thing about name
yeah,
reassurance
yeah.
and
We
being
talk
part of.
about wanting to fit in.
Yes,
Yes,
wanting
wanting to
to
fit in.
fit in. That's the phrase.
Yes,
Wanting to fit in.
but I think that as you get older,
Yeah.
and you go through life,
Yes.
I think there is a time that belonging is not only central, identity is paramount.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
That's
And
true.
so you say my name is this.
Yes, my name is
Yes.
this. I don't care
Yes.
whether you like it or not. My name is this.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let
and then
me
and talking about the idea of getting to the apex of your age. You know what you wanted, and probably you've gotten that now, and you want to establish that point that I am nobody else but this person, and that's what it is. Whether you
yes.
like it or not, that's what it is.
I was struck by the fact that a lot of the people who returned from who came from the United States to
Yes.
Liberia
Yeah.
decided to keep their slave masters' names.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them decided to keep that name.
Yes.
And I was wondering why. You
It,
know,
it
why?
will it will partly have to do with how well in even though slavery is not a good thing, but within that system, there were some who believed that their masters treated them well, and therefore, as a way of gratitude, they decided to keep such names. And of course, also, if there was something about some benefit, yes, some economic benefit or something of that sort, they decide to keep that name as a way of projecting themselves.
Yeah, like Susan Lindsay spoke about the Major family. The Major family,
Okay.
they kept the man's name.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And another thing, even among the indigenous children that were adopted by adopted by their foster parents or what have you. Even after the foster parents passed away and what have you, they decided to keep the name in the family.
Some of them are returning to the indigenous names.
Yes, again, that's the gravy train thing. You saw much of that during the cool time, where they were changing their names to left and right. This fellow, uh, uh, C. C. Is it C. William Allen? His book, his little novel, the obituary for
Oh,
Howard
Howard
Bashu.
Bashu.
Yes, that's right. Yes, the guy, Godfrey Fowler something. Yeah, they tease him a whole lot until he partially changes his name and taking both the indigenous element and the Congo element.
Yeah, and so the people who came from the Congo,
Yeah.
they took on the name of the indigenous. I mean of the American Liberians.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But the people who came from the West Indies, they already had their names.
Yeah, that's right.
They already
And
fixed.
they were proud to keep the Grimes, the Barclays,
Yeah, and I wanted to read one from the ex-slave Martin Jackson.
please go ahead.
Yeah, why he chose his last name after emancipation. He said, and I quote, "The master's name was usually adopted by a slave after he was set free.
Mm-hmm.
This was done more because it was the logical thing to do and the easiest way to be identified
Mm-hmm.
than it was through affection for the master."
Yes,
Yeah,
some actually, yes,
yeah.
somewhere like that.
He said also the government seemed to be in an almighty hurry to have us get names. We had to register as someone so we
Yes.
could be citizens.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got to thinking about all us slaves that was going to take the name Fitzpatrick,
Fitzpatrick, what?
I made up my mind. I find me a different name. So one of my grandfathers in Africa was called Jessio, and so
What?
I decided to be Jackson.
Okay, how about that? Creative
Yes,
enough. Yes. And
yes.
coming to the latter part of the 60s and well into the 70s, there was this African American revolt. In fact, it came partly with the release of Roots.
Yes.
Yeah, when
Yes.
the Roots was released, there were a lot of African Americans that were going back to Africa to identify where they came from, and then of course to kind of do name change and what have you.
I mean, look at Cassius Clay,
Yes,
Muhammad
yes,
Ali,
yes, 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 yes.
Malcolm X.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I mean, there were a
Malcolm
lot of
Little,
people. Yeah.
Malcolm Little becoming Malcolm X and what have you.
Yes,
Yes.
there are a lot of people who changed
Mhm,
their names now.
mhm, mhm.
I mean, I knew someone who was an African who became a citizen and changed their name to a very revolutionary Black American name, which was kind
Yeah.
of interesting to me. But yeah, I see.
Mhm,
So then we come back to the thing of naming,
mhm, yes.
right? Naming,
Mhm.
and we had said that uh, Achebe says, if you want to know what a person goes through, look at the names they gave their children.
Yeah.
You know, so it would be very interesting if we get some of our viewers to tell us names, you know, and what the names mean. But it's very interesting because I went back to Things Fall Apart, you know, about the names, because Achebe is a master in naming. You know, he can show the effect of colonialism and Christianity on a community just by the names.
Yes.
You know, like Nuwoyi becoming Isaac.
Yes.
And then he continues in
Obi Ajuru,
yes,
Obi, yes.
you know, and then he can be sarcastic, like Chief, the Honorable Minister.
Yeah, that's
You
Now,
know,
I call those names. There's a category for it called proverbial names. In other words,
yeah.
names that have standard interpretations, clearly standard interpretations of those names come, and some of them get to be like your nicknames and what have you. Whenever your parents call that name, it was like wine to you. It was like you were flying all over the world. Whenever,
or you could be in trouble.
yeah, yes, but in most instances, it's like if you feel that you were tired, and all that, and your mother called that nickname. We call them wiki, names for the hallowing. In other words, you don't call the person's real name. You got to just call that nickname, and then of course it is something to kind of blow that person up in terms
And
of.
what was the nickname?
My nickname, there were two funny ones. The other one was Hunter's namesake, Poliba. I tried to use that for pen name, but it never held very well. K. Moses Nagbe stole the day. So Poliba, Hunter's namesake, and the other one is Sokrode. Is like saying I am an enemy of cassava. In other words, when I see cassava, I run away. When I see cassava, I run away. But
You didn't like cassava?
well, I don't know how they came by that name, but it was like if I spot cassava, I just cut it quits. But if they bring rice, I'm ready to run for my spoon and begin to eat. So normally such names are shortened to. So like they say Sokrode, but the whole thing is a statement which is Jebura po Sokrode. If you see rice, you throw away cassava. That's what it is. So it's shortened to Sokrode, that sort of a thing.
Yeah,
So,
and my nickname for some reason growing up was Mom.
okay.
Which I don't know where it came from, but I do know that anybody who calls me Mom, we grew up together on Mama Point.
Yes.
That's a sense of belonging. Then I know
exactly.
that, yeah. But I wanted to read this passage in Things Fall Apart about the naming.
Okay.
And how the name is intertwined with the life of Okongo and Ikwefi, right?
Yeah, Ikwefi, yeah.
Ikwefi, okay.
Yeah, the daughter.
And the wife, the pretty one.
Oh yeah, the pretty one. Yes.
Yes. So let me just read it, and I can see.
Okay, please go ahead.
It says, Ekwefi had suffered a good deal in her life. She had born 10 children, and 9 of them died in infancy, usually before the age of 3. As she buried one child after another, her sorrow gave way to despair, and then to grim resignation.
Yeah.
The birth of her children, which should be a woman's crowning glory, became for Ikwefi mere physical agony devoid of promise. The naming ceremony, after 7 market weeks, became an empty ritual. Her deepening despair found expression in the names she gave her children. One of them was a pathetic cry. Onwum biko biko, death, I implore you. but death took no notice.
Hmm.
Onumbiko died in his 15th month. The next child was a girl. Osomina, may it not happen again.
Hmm.
She died in her 11th month.
Oh.
And 2 others after that. Ikwefi then became defiant. And she called her next child, "Oh woman, death may please itself." And death did. End of quote. I find that,
Yeah.
I mean, I find that so deeply moving.
And that's a story that's a family story that is being told there.
Yes.
That's a family story, yes. Family story of tragedy.
So when she had Inzima, which is the child
Izima,
who
yes,
lived,
that's Izima, yes.
right? They call
Yes.
her the crystal of beauty.
Yes.
Right? But can you imagine that this woman had 9 children?
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I think I read, I can't remember the book where there was another woman who her kids kept dying.
Mm-hmm.
So she gave the children another name to full death.
Yes. Diversion.
So yes, when
Diversion,
death comes looking,
yes. Yes.
yes.
Names as diversion, yes.
Yes. So with the naming, especially, and it's not only Africa, but we're discussing Africa, but in African cosmology,
yes, that's
it
what I'm
means something.
Yes.
It means something. It's like there are some groups, when you ask for the person's name and they call their name, they're the second child or the first child.
Yes.
You know right away.
Ghanaians, are noted for that.
Yes.
Well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. And so we come to what we say, that names can be an act of rebellion.
Yeah.
Like we said,
yes.
but it's almost like, even sometimes you don't like the name your parents gave you, and it's okay, I'm going to change my name. That's still rebellion.
Yes, that's true.
But I said I was going to tell you about my name, which I don't normally do, but I want to encourage the audience to let us know about the names and what their names mean.
Mm-hmm.
But Jackie, okay, Jackie is Jacqueline, but I go by Jackie.
Yeah.
So we know that they say, they name me after what's her name? Jackie Kennedy. Okay, we know that. That's gone. But my father's name, when I tell people my name is Sayegh, then they start just how you say it, Prof. They go.
Which Sayegh?
The Sayegh from Sino.
Yeah.
The Sayegh from this. And I when we talk, I said to you, sometimes when you say your name, it makes you stand a little taller when you say your name, either because you've achieved,
yes,
or because of some remembrance or some legacy in that name.
That's true.
Yeah. So for me, my father, as a young political activist in Syria, he got involved in politics. And that was under the first Assad, King Assad, the president at the time.
The father.
He crushed them. So my father and a group of them had to leave Syria. So when my father came, my father did not intend to come to Liberia.
Yeah.
Right? But the people say, let's go, and that country is nice. So my father came as a very young boy. He was young when he came. But in order for my father to escape, right, when he came, his name became Selim Sayegh.
Yes.
Because he was like, they're going to find me, they're going to kill me, And he used that name. He legalized that name. He used that name. When the first Assad died,
yes,
he went back to his name, Diab Dayub.
Yes.
So the people will come and say, hello, Mr. Dayub, hello, Mr. Dayub. And they will say to me, how come your name is Jackie Sayegh? So there came a time my father said, okay, the children that were born, my siblings that were born after Assad died, they could take the Dayub's name.
Yes.
And my father said to me, it is time for you to take your rightful name.
Yes.
And I said, no, I will be the one to carry on this story.
Yes.
When somebody asks me, I will tell them what happened to you.
Yes.
I will be the legacy of that interlude
Yes.
that happened to you. And
Wow.
you know, Prof, the funny thing was that I remember that I'm sorry, this is an aside. I don't normally jump
Yeah.
into my
Yeah.
personal life, but I
No.
remember I was coming to high school. I got the student exchange. I was coming to Colorado, and my father decided that he was going to take me to the airport. And the airport was the same as it is today. There were no lights on the road.
Can you just imagine
So
that?
can you imagine? My father's driving me, and what does he want? He wants to stop in the middle of the dark to tell me about his life. And the man parked the car. He's like, Jackie, you know, you are going to America. I want to tell you my life. And he's talking. I'm like, can we go?
No, I don't want you to ever forget that, right?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not gonna miss the plane. You know,
Yeah.
I need to go. But the thing is that perhaps it was the right time.
Yeah.
You know, because I was crossing the ocean.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what was going to happen.
Yes.
And he wanted me to know that.
Get the story.
Yeah, so I went, you know, he told me about his friends who they all came. I got to know some of his friends when I came back who came.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I'm saying is that sometimes something happens to somebody. It may not be you.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I feel like if somebody says to me, how come your brother and your sister, they have a different last name?
Yes.
I can say to them, this is the reason why.
Yes, this is what happened.
Somebody have to give testament to what my father went through. And
I am a special chapter. I'm a special chapter in the whole book.
Names do mean names do mean something, you know, and that's why it's very important.
Yeah.
And that's why we are going to go back to the Liberia after we read our comments. So let's see if we have comments.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Elizabeth say I'm watching now. Amen. Thank you, Elizabeth. and Vahun says my friend just changed his name from Bacchus to Israel. I asked him why he changed his name, but never gave me no answer. Maybe it's very personal.
I know.
It's very personal to him.
You have to respect that too, though.
Yeah. Something happened to him, but it's personal. Yeah. Emmanuel Jackson said he's watching. Hi, Emmanuel from home.
Hi, Emmanuel. How you doing? Thanks for being
I hope you and Sis Hawa are watching.
Okay.
And Stanley said he's watching from Nebraska. Yes. Laura Herring said in the Jewish culture, name is very critical.
Yeah.
The name states the character of the person.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that is universal, though. That's universal.
But how, Prof? Because when you're born, nobody knows your character.
It says, well, and it may be something suggestive. For instance, Moses means leadership and all that kind of a thing. So there's an implied thing about character or comfort and all that. Patience.
Patience, yes.
Yeah.
Thomas Warchulo said those names were kept because of the same identity purpose.
Yes.
Further, the indigenous Liberians continue to carry the Western names because of identity and the extent to which they have been indoctrinated by the settlers.
Yes.
They were indoctrinated into having low self-esteem of themselves, forgetting to know that they were authentic, purer, and stronger. As Liberia entered its civil war, because of fear, many Liberians began converting to the indigenous name. Unfortunately, with the war in, I think
Something else.
At times you have to change to the Western name to fit in. No.
What is it? And it say at times maybe that's
yeah. But I say, show me one Westerner that has gone to Africa or to any developing country and changed their name to an indigenous name. Show me one.
But you see, Jackie, you know the story now. The thing about it is that what did this guy say? Kekura Kutu, I hang my clothes where the sun is shining. So in the case of naming and what have you, we are talking about agency. You are talking about agency and what have you. So you get to a point where you know where the bread is being buttered very well. That is a place you want to kind of lean your life and everything, which is actually sometimes, I mean, if you're a radical, you can say there's no justification for that, but not people, all people have that energy. Not all people have that strength to be able to say, well, look, I am who I am what I am, and nothing is going to change me. Whether
Okay, so
I prosper or not, I don't mind. Yes.
no problem. You know, it's almost like, you know, you know how when you want to go somewhere and you don't have the card, and your friend say, use my card.
Yes.
And you go use the card, and they say, and they call me, oh, hello, Catherine, and that's not my name. I keep going because that's not my name.
That story you brought up during the refugee days, I was chairman of one of the refugee camps in Ghana, the Sanzule group. Jackie, my dear, like they say, I'm not calling you for nothing. There were people who were changing their names from one section of the camp to the other. It was not funny, just to make sure they will have so many bags of rice or so many bags of bulgur wheat or what have you. So these circumstances can do a whole lot. So after the war, now I saw one or two of them, and then I knew their names now, and I was calling them by their camp names and what have you. Say, Pronabo, don't bring that kind of thing here. Don't bring that kind of thing here. Don't got these people here. So actually, circumstances do a whole lot to kind of. Oh my God.
Yeah, Laura said you cannot say no to my state. It is based on where you are and what is going on around you. I agree. The Westerners do not change their names because they determine what the rest of the world does.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying that one person, I'm not saying that a lot of Western, I'm saying just one. Has there been an instance where you have one American going to Ghana and saying, oh, well, maybe
some of them, out of curiosity, for instance, I have a peaceful family. They have three children, and their three children each has been named for each has been given a crew name. One of them, for instance, is Tennessee. One of them is Tennessee, which is there's always time. Time never passes. There's always time. The story is that the woman could not have a child for a very long time, and the last year left for them to leave Southtown, she conceived, and so when she had the kid, they named the kid Tennessee. Time is never lost for good things to happen or whatever it is. Part of it is the continuity, wealth, time, just the continuity,
Okay, now we have discussed that. Coming now to the Liberian side.
Oh my God, she's not coming again.
We are going to finish this, Prof.
There you go.
We set. We have discussed this.
Yes.
Our audience have joined us to discuss the power of names.
Yeah.
For those of you who were not here last week, we had a debate.
We had a small heat. That's all.
Now, let's talk about it a little bit, right?
Yes. Okay.
They said that during the first 100 years of the adventures, I'm quoting, right, from 1445 to 1525, right? The Portuguese had named nearly every cape, inlet, river, and mountain on the west, south, and east coast of Africa.
Yeah.
From Morocco past the Cape of Good Hope to the Red Sea. So the first one, the Galinas River.
Yeah.
Right? It was named by the Portuguese, but because of the abundance of the domestic chicken.
Okay.
And Galinas in Portuguese, it means young chicken.
Okay.
So that's the first one. They named that. Right? Then we have Pedro de Centra, right? Who look at Cape Mount, he named it Cabo de Monte, right? Cape Mount. And beyond that, he named Cape Mazzarado. So that's another name.
Okay.
By someone who is not who is not Liberian.
Yes.
Then we have Kavala, right? And then Kavala is because of the fish.
Yeah.
Right? The fish, the fish. Then we have the chocolate. Sorry.
No, they have Kavala. Actually, the name is Yellow Kavala or Yellow Jack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. King Macro.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So then we have the John River, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Portuguese name it Jonco because of the Reedy River,
Okay.
right? And then they went and called the other river, the River St. John,
Mm-hmm.
because it was discovered on the feast of St. John, right?
Okay. All right.
Okay. Then
Names are history. Names are history. Keep that in mind as we go on. Okay.
then
Okay.
the succeeding rivers, they had the Sestos River or Ses River, which is like a basket,
Yeah.
right?
Basket. Yes.
Basket, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that. Then we come now to do.
Okay.
Coming now to my thing that
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, Prof.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that Monrovia has to be changed
Mm-hmm.
to Ducor.
Okay.
And unfortunately for me,
Mm-hmm.
when I was trying to find
All the negatives.
when I was trying to find all the negatives, because I was doing an investigation, Prof.
What?
But I found something to bolster your argument.
You before you go, I can hear the thing. I will say,
So, Prof,
university students.
so let me just read it, because so it says that, so my thing, I'm saying let's change Monrovia's name to Duco.
Okay.
They say Du River is known as Du or Duque River, but Duco is actually two words: Du from the river Du, and Ko, which means rock
Okay.
in bad.
Okay.
Okay. Now I went now to go bolster my argument.
Mm-hmm.
Now my sister Eunice Miller, she knows all of these names. So one day we'll have to bring her on this show.
Okay.
But Prof, so I went now to find out that there's James Monroe, right?
Yeah.
Now James Monroe, last week you and we discussed this, and I said it may be that people will still keep the name Monrovia, but there must be a discussion.
And what did I say?
And I found out.
Well, and what did I say?
Yes, you said yes.
I agree with you. Yes, on that note.
And I found out that at William and Mary, because James Monroe was in Virginia. At William and Mary, I think, right? It's in Virginia. Yeah. The people even went, because some of the ancestors of the people who he kept as slaves, they went to a meeting because they wanted to bring his statue down.
Yeah.
And they have the Monroe Scholarship, which is a very prestigious scholarship.
Yeah.
They wanted to change everything, right? Because this man was a slave master.
Yeah.
This man he only freed one of his slaves, Peter March.
Yes.
But the people decided. Now that's what I come when I say let the people decide. The people decided that they wanted to keep James Monroe's statue up, right? So what I found, James Monroe died. So I'm going to read you a little thing.
Okay.
And I quote, "It was eminently worthy of note." It was long, but this is the part I took, that while $400 had been paid him in public salaries, right?
Okay.
$400. He came out of office poor.
Yeah.
In debt for the government.
Yes.
But he was an honest man. But listen to this, Prof. He aided materially in acquiring Louisiana.
Yeah.
And in purchasing Florida.
Yes.
And he was the first of our presidents to give his executive sanction to the good cause. Now, good is debatable, but to the good cause of African colonization.
Yes.
Which, after all that may be said against it, will alone enable us to redeem our promise to Africa.
Okay.
To send back a free man and a Christian that she sent us as a savage and a slave. Can you imagine? But listen to this, Prof. Listen to the last sentence.
Yes.
The colony of Liberia has recognized the debt she owes to our distinguished statesman James Monroe, and has handed down his name to posterity in the settlement of Monrovia. I rest my case.
Now, there are two things you didn't include.
Yes.
First, Monroe was the fifth president of the United States. In fact, he was the last of who you would call the founding presidents of them. The other thing is that because he came in at the end of 1816, he started at 1817, and he was able to organize a grant of $100,000,
Yes.
$100,000 to help with a lot of things, including the purchasing of land, a few other things in the place that will eventually become Liberia.
If actually can put that slide up so people can see it. I
Yes.
think it's the third slide.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, yeah, he gave money.
I come here, and then the other thing he did. Let's put a few things in perspective. That slavery by itself was nothing that anybody should celebrate and applaud.
Yes.
But yet within that system, there were people who were draconian, and there were others who tried as much as possible, to empathize. And James Monroe happened to be in that select group of people. And so I guess some of those things help in terms of making the people decide that his name will be immortalized into Monrovia.
Yeah, but Prof, the thing is, I agree with you.
Mm.
I told you last week that we cannot have a country called Liberia, land of the free.
All right.
And have a capital city named after a slave master. I don't care. It wasn't his own money. That wasn't his own money.
But even you, if you had all the money and you didn't apply it where it ought to be applied, of what use that was. So there are times when you have chapters in a national history where you do not curse the night, but try as much as possible to light a candle. And I think in the case of James Monroe, it would be a good thing to kind of talk about lighting the candle. But as we all agree, we cannot talk about a unilateral decision. It has to go through a process of discussion and debate. So I would agree with you in terms of making sure that some of those names and things like that are working. But we have to keep something in mind, though, that if we are saying that we are talking about inclusiveness, how will you talk about inclusiveness while pulling something else out? That's what I see. For instance, if you say that this cannot be Monrovia and we say Ducor and the other people feel left out, what do you do?
What other people? We have Liberia, and in Liberia is the American Liberians and the side. The Ducor is the indigenous. That's inclusive. You bring both together.
You Izo. Let me use my little Liberian English now. You Izo. The thing about it, if you find another project or something like that and put Ducor there, well, find another project.
What I'm saying to you is that
you say what?
Why don't you take maybe Caldwell and name Caldwell Monrovia, not the capital city?
Yeah, okay.
That is too fundamental. The
All
capital
right.
city, look, am I the only one? Come on, my people, you the audience. What do you say? The capital city is too major. They may give money.
Character centrality.
Yeah.
As a character centrality, that's why it cannot be why Monroe cannot be there. Okay, well, like I said, I think we can engage in this academic argument here now, but I think it's that part of why we have these forums is to kind of create awareness and to kind of invite people to think critically about certain things. So that can become a theme that we can mull over and what have you.
Yes, and the thing is that I mean look at this what we read just now about the Portuguese. The Portuguese name everything. Cape Mount, Cape Monserrato.
So we have to clean them. Even Sanguine in Sino is blood. Yes. So you see what is happening. The thing about it is that except a chapter is so repugnant, so nauseating and what have you, we have to be able to pay a due to that historical action or whatever. See all those people, the places they move from this point to that point. There are trails. There is a history to their trails, and if we have to a kind of eliminate all those things and what have you, we're starting anew. Well, I just hope that those who will debate that, maybe when some of us are gone, or if some of us are around and we are in the back, with our chins resting on our canes, we can talk about that and let the young people go shouting "Benya, Benya, Su Benya" or something.
What about Chief J? Chief J was a good chief. Why is nothing named after him? Okay,
yes, this is where you see that is why this program, Jackie, is very much important. All these important actors, some of them may have suffered and what have you, we can always find things for them as a way of creating the mosaic, the tapestry that is the nation.
So what's going to happen is that as we start to really delve into history,
yes,
and see that there were people who were average people who stood up, right? And they were punished for it.
Yes.
Chief Jay was a strong man.
Yes.
Chief Jay was punished. All of those things. I am not saying that somebody will not come and say, "Oh, let's keep Monrovia." I am saying that when they were naming Monrovia, as you see from this letter, this person wrote at the in a repository.
Yes.
They were saying that, "Oh, this man helped to build Liberia, so we are naming the colony Monrovia." Okay, that's fine. But I'm saying now, in the spirit of inclusiveness,
yes,
every actor, every stakeholder, every Liberian come to the table and say, "You know what? Okay, we acknowledge that this James Monroe was one of the biggest slaveholder. We acknowledge that what
that's not fair. That thing you said just not that. Then that's the way you speaking. Well, Jackie,
I said we acknowledge that this man, despite all of the people around him freeing their slaves to come to Liberia, they made free one net.
Because they were still serviceable. He didn't free them out of hard-heartedness.
Prof, I think you even saw that the fact that they said this man, his father, his mother, his parents, he was from a long line of slave owners.
No, that's true. From
this man, he even took his slaves to the White House when he was in the White House.
Yes, so they were serviceable. They were serviceable, Jackie. Don't do that.
The 100,000 that the man gave, Prof, it is almost like somebody who's very bad and they give a university money to build a school, and let's build a school. No.
So that Nobel prize structure you want to talk about now?
No, I'm saying that people. I mean, look at
the Nobel Peace Prize and literature and what have you. I said that's where you're going now. This guy lived his years making explosives and all that kind of a thing, and towards the end of his life, he decided to set up that prize so that it's like the mafia thing. It's like the mafia thing. My man. They say if a mafia
end does not justify the mean. It's the same thing like Cecil Rhodes. You have the Rhodes Scholarship. This is a man who not only owned Rhodesia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Zambia, but this is the man who Queen Victoria just gave him this country, and he became so wealthy.
No,
when he made the Rhodes Scholarship, it was not for Black people.
Yes. Okay. You see those chapters in that person's life may do well to discount the glory we want to give to that person. So I accept that. There are certain people whose bad behavior or misdeeds counter and even obliterate what good they may have had and what have you. So those things, it is very much important. Again, we come back to the theme of discussion. It comes back to the theme of discussion, which is what I appreciate in whatever you are saying. So whenever such things happen, we want to be able to have a forum where we discuss every aspect of that and eventually, decide, hey, let this thing, let this particular chapter determine the fate of the person, or let this particular chapter kind of enhance the overall importance of that person. So I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. We're coming to almost the end now.
Okay.
Yes, Sindolo. Is that your name? One Kemi?
Nya must be something about this. Was it the second child?
Oh, okay.
Nya Sendolo.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Prof, we're coming to the end
Yeah.
of the topic today. I want
Yeah.
to remind everybody that tomorrow at 3 o'clock,
Yeah.
whatever you are doing, whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
stop what you're doing and
Yes.
come and join us at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
Because at 3 o'clock tomorrow, we will have Dr. Tokpa Nanti Kote.
Yes.
We had asked you to buy his book.
Mhm.
We've read his book. It's not too late.
Mhm.
You can buy the Kindle for $6.99.
Yeah.
So it's not too late. The book is called Bite and Blow.
Yeah.
And then his book of poetry is called A Pepper Bird Bound for Freedom.
I'm coming. Just 1 minute.
Okay. Pepper Bird Bound for Freedom. So when you, Sandolo said, second child, you're absolutely right, sir. Yep.
Is that right?
Yes, you're right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So tomorrow at 3 o'clock,
Okay.
we're
So
going to have, Prof has the book.
yes. So this is the okay.
Bite and Blow. So it did come in time.
Yeah, they come in time. Yeah, that's right. And this is the
Pepper
book
Bird.
of poems. Okay.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right.
So you can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it. It can go straight to your Kindle.
Yeah.
So you can start reading. So
Yeah.
come tomorrow to ask our warrior, the
Yes.
person who has been battle scarred,
Yes.
about what's happening in Liberia,
Mhm,
about their life.
mhm.
Let's learn from this great person, this great Liberian. So tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern time, we'll be here for a special interview. Prof is ready.
Oh,
And
I'll be depending on you anyway.
and we can also ask him about his name as well,
Yeah,
and
that's
about how he feels about the name of Monrovia. We will ask him that as well. But this is not a political show; it's about his life. And of course, you know that Dr. Tipote's life is intertwined with politics.
Yes.
So we can't not comment on it, but we will try. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today. We really enjoy having you guys here, and we say that this show is more of a conversation.
Yeah.
We started at the beginning to say that it's a journey. We're all on this journey of identity. We're on this journey of knowledge. We're on this journey of discovery, so we can learn about our country. So we thank you for joining us. We will definitely have something else next week. It's every Friday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So before you go to have your date on Friday, before you go to do your exercise, it's 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So please join us again and tell others about the show. We say, Laura said, guess that's what they were doing when they fled the country, biting and blowing at the expense of the
You see trouble? You see
Come
what?
on, Laura, come tomorrow. We'll ask him some questions. We'll take questions from the audience so you can come
Laura,
tomorrow. Yeah. So, Prof, any last words?
Never stop learning, never stop exploring the key historical moments in our nation's history. To understand history is to understand history and literature of the country is to at least see the meaning and purpose of the country in which you live. That cultural environment is very much important. And we will always thank you all for always being part of, even if there are 2 or 3, we are always happy to have you join us to have a jolly good time on a Friday evening. And thank you, Jackie, for always being there.
Thank you, Prof. I'm learning so much. We thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week. Oh no, we'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
and then
yes.
We'll see you next week.
Yes.
And we say whether your name is firstborn, secondborn,
Second born.
whether your name is whether your name was changed, whether
Yes.
you have changed your name back, you
Yes.
know, whether you're thinking about changing your name,
Yes.
you know, we want to say we are all Liberians.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
more we explore
Yes.
the history, the more we know about our country. You
Yes.
know, so let us keep exploring,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we will say to you,
Yes.
mask up, pray for the world, pray for our country, tell
Wash your
your
hands.
friends and families to wash their hands, mask up. One
Yes.
day we'll get over this thing,
Yes.
you know, and don't forget, no matter where you're from, no matter
Yes.
what's your name, we
Yes.
are all Liberians, and that's
Yes.
how it should be. So
Yes.
thank you and good night.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, Prof.
Good night, Jackie.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home.